I'm blocking my camera. Hold on. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. How is everyone doing today? I'm starting my day off a little late. I was out doing some work, but I did not do my Bible in business. So let me go on ahead and do my devotional on live. If y'all like, girl, where you been? Baby, I have been at that good divorce court for a good week. All I want to say is God is amazing. God continues to fight for me, so I am thankful for that. Before I get into my devotion, I am doing a free masterclass tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, going over how to properly structure your business, how to fund your business, and how to market your business. And then we're going to also discuss tonight, how do you get into selling digital products, ebooks, courses, journals, checklists? How are you able to make some passive income? So if any of that sounds good to you, you're on my Instagram page, comment bank in the comments, and a link will be sent to you to get the Zoom link for tonight's class. If you are on my TikTok, my YouTube, you want to DM me the word bank or click that first link in my bio for the free masterclass. So I read from the devotional book, Jesus Calling. So for October 13th, it reads, take time to be still in my presence. The more hassled you feel, the more you need this sacred space of communion with me. Breathe slowly and deeply. Relax in my holy presence while my face shines upon you. This is how you receive my peace, which I always proffer to you. Imagine the pain I feel when my children tie themselves up in anxious knots, ignoring my gift of peace. I died a criminal's death to secure the blessing for you. Receive it gratefully. Hide in it in your heart. My peace is an inner treasure growing within you as you trust in me. Therefore, circumstances cannot touch it. Be still, enjoying peace in my presence. So let's get into it. First, it says, take time to be still in my presence. The more hassled you feel, the more you need this sacred space of communion. When life is lifing, when things are not going your way, it's easy for us to be filled with anxiety. It's easy for us to worry. It's easy for us to try to, in our minds, figure out how are we going to get ourselves out of this situation? How are we going to fix this problem? How are we going to change our circumstances? And when we start thinking that we have to fight the battle, when we start putting that pressure on, I have to solve this problem, all it's doing is adding stress. It's adding anxiety. And the devil's going to have you focus on the problem. He's going to have you focus on things that you can't change. He's going to have you focus on all your attention on what's not going right in your life. Where it's saying right here, the more hassled you feel, the more you need my sacred space of communion. So if God is saying, be still in my presence, that means that you have to get in alignment with God. You have to get in alignment with understanding that in the good and the bad, God's in control. Sometimes we think when bad things happen that God has left us. God doesn't know what's going on. He's left us. Now we have to figure out how we're going to get ourselves out of this mess. But God is with us in the good. God is with us in the bad. And God is with us in the ugly. All we have to do is to be in his presence. So what is being in his presence? Hold on, y'all. Where's my bam? What does it mean to be in God's presence? Whatever is your relationship with God, What do you have to do to feel his presence? Everyone is different. Some of y'all, that may mean, I got to be in church. I got to hear, I need to be around, a sermon, be in church to hear the word. Some people may be like, I just need to turn on a good YouTube video or a YouTube sermon and hear the word to get in God's presence. Some of y'all may be like, you know what? If I read the Bible or if I read a devotional book, if I meditate, if I listen to gospel music, if I just, write down all the things that he's already blessed me with, whatever is your relationship with God, and if you don't have one, that's fine. We're going to just get one today. It's hey, God, I need your help. That's all you got to do. He ain't tripping and you ain't been there for a while. And so whatever you personally need to do to feel the assurance that God is with you. Now, just because God's with you does not mean that he's going to change your situation that day. Just because God's with you or you're in God's presence doesn't mean that the problem is fixed. Sometimes the problem is the blessing. You just don't understand why yet. So it's saying we have to get in the presence of God. And once we're in the presence of God, we should not be feeling anxious or worried because we understand that God's in control. Relax in my holy presence while my face shines upon you. This is how you receive my peace, which I proffer to you. Now, although whatever you're going through, whatever situation you are in, God may not answer that situation right now, but he will still give you peace in your situation. Meaning you're not going to feel anxious. Maybe you were laid off, right? Unexpectedly, you were laid off. And you are begging God for a new job. You're begging God for a new interview. You're begging God to him, where am I supposed to go now? What am I supposed to do next? God's answer may not be another job, right? But as you are jobless, as you are, praying for God to show you the direction as to where you're supposed to be going, God's going to give you a center of peace. You're not going to be anxious. Somehow the bills are still being paid. You may receive an unexpected check in the mail. And all of this may sound crazy to you, but if you've ever received an unexpected check in the mail, just comment a 1 in the chat. Comment a 1 in the chat if you've ever experienced an unexpected check in the mail. I remember during COVID, all the auctions, I have a dealership. So during COVID, all of the car manufacturers had shut down because of COVID. So because the car manufacturers were shut down, that meant that Hyundai, Toyota, Honda, all of the major car brands, they weren't making any cars. So instead of Hyundai or Toyota or Honda or Ford getting cars from their manufacturer, they're now having to buy cars at the auction. Well, most of the time the auction is full of used car dealers, not new car dealers. So a used car dealer like myself has a smaller budget than bidding against Ford, Toyota, or Honda. So now the auction is filled with all these brand new. Now the auction is no longer filled with used car dealers. Now we have new car dealers at the auction. So the price as what cars were going for almost doubled at the auction because now people with a bigger wallet, Ford doesn't have a budget. Ford can cut whatever kind of check Ford wants to cut. Honda can cut any check. Honda doesn't care about paying over sticker price for a car because they already know they have a customer to buy it. Saying all that to say, instead of us being able to buy cars on our budget, buying cars, we're trying to get our cars like under sticker value so that, we can still make a profit. we were needing some more money because now we're having to pay more for cars and we're getting less cars for our budget. Baby, why did I get a check in the mail from Wells Fargo for $45,000? Out of the blue, we have been praying for some more money. You know, I sold some Chanel bags. You know, I'm trying to get as much money as possible because our budget now has to be stretched because we're not getting a car for the price that we normally get a car for, because now I'm not just competing against other used dealers. I'm now next to Ford, Honda, and Toyota. It's not fair. So I kept saying, God, how can I get some more money? You know, what can I do? Out of the blue, I get a check for $45,000 from Wells Fargo. We had paid a car. We had paid a car note double for a whole year. See, rule number one, no matter how much money you make, always pay attention to them bills. Don't just write them checks. Pay attention to the bill. I made the mistake of, whatever the bill is, I'm just writing it. I'm not even looking at it. I'm just paying these bills, right? And so we paid, what did we have at the time? Either a Rolls-Royce Drophead Phantom or the Rolls-Royce Ghost. One of them notes, it's like $3,500. We paid that note twice for a whole year, never knew. 4 years later, it was either Wells Fargo or Ally. One of them two. I think it was Wells Fargo though. Wells Fargo sent us a letter. Hey, 4 years ago or 3 years ago, you paid this car note twice for a whole year. We reconciled our books and we saw the overpayment. We apologized. Here's $45,000 like that. That's how God moves. So whatever situation you're in, stop looking at it in your eyes. You are not going to be able to get yourself out of the situation. You are not going to be able to fix your problem. So stop worrying about how you're going to fix it. All you have to do is say, God, help me and give me the strength to get through. Just give me the strength to get through. Give me the strength to, see the positive in things. Give me the strength to, be proactive and looking at what am I supposed to be doing. But it's not up to us to solve the problem. If you think you have to solve the problem, you're going to be in an insane asylum. You're going to be full of depression, full of anxiety, full of tension, can't be creative, can't think, can't function because you're trying to solve a problem that God says, I'm going to give you peace through your storm. You're going to go through the fire, but you're not going to be burned. Baby, let me get to this devotional. Imagine the pain I feel when my children tie themselves up in anxious knots, ignoring my gift of peace. I'm going to say this again for those in the back. Hold on. Imagine the pain I feel when my children tie themselves up in anxious knots, ignoring my gift of peace. When you are laid out on that couch, when you can't get out the bed, when you are just existing in life because you feel like everything is over, when you've already counted yourself out because you done found yourself in a situation and you don't know how you're going to get out, that is not of God, that's of the devil. The devil is always going to give you anxiety, depression, stress. God is a God of peace. God is a God of understanding. God is a God of forgiveness. God is a God of overflow. My gift of peace. I died a criminal's death to secure this blessing for you. So when you are, once again, whatever you're going through, you have to understand that nothing is too big for God. Give it to God. And when you give it to God, you got to let it go. All right, I asked for God's help on this. I'm done. I'm done touching it. I'm done worrying about it. Because if you think about it, has worrying ever helped you? How does worrying about the problem help you? How does being on your phone all day, talking to your mama, talking to your best friend about the problem, how does that fix the problem? How does that solve the problem? All it's going to do is, number one, waste your time. It's going to give you more anxiety. And you got to remember, whatever it is that you're focusing on, whatever you're focused on, whatever you're thinking about, it's like you are going to duplicate that. So if you're focused on the problem, all you're doing is manifesting more problems. Versus if I'm focused on, you know what? I don't know why I'm going through this situation today, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm about to move on to boom, 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 boom. So back to my analogy, if you just happen to get laid off and you don't know why, and they just, okay, I can't, me filling out a bad Google review, that's not going to affect the job. Me at home stressing about what I'm going to do is not going to get me a job. Me eating or not eating is not going to get me a job. So God, I don't know why you had me lose this job, but I'm giving it up to you. Now, I got to still do my due diligence. I still got to, put my resume up. But what is God directing me to do? Is God directing you to, update your resume and get up on there? Or has God been telling you this is your season to start your business? Now, I'm not, God didn't give me your vision. So I can't answer that question for you. But God may have closed that door because you keep walking through it. God may have purposely closed that door because he was tired of you walking through it. He keeps telling you, it's now time for you to be the boss. It's now time for you to have your enterprise. And you keep saying, well, I'm not ready yet. I got these bills. Just wait a second. And God's saying, you have me. Like, I'm in this with you, baby. We in this together. For those of you guys who know, I am going through a divorce. And when I left a toxic marriage, after my husband was cheating on me with employees and then tried to kill me in front of our son, he then took all the money out of our accounts and then he locked me out of our business. So now, February 2022, I'm grown with no money. Now, I could be on the telephone with my mama all day. I could be on the telephone with my friend. Girl, can you believe? I can't believe after 10 years of marriage, 12 years of being with him, how can he do that? When you met him, he didn't have nothing. I could spend all day on that telephone talking about how horrible he is and how what he was doing was so wrong. And what is that doing? Focusing on the problem, baby, isn't going to fix the problem. So I just said, God, I don't even know this play. I don't know this play. I know I didn't just slave for 12 years building all these 7-figure bills. And I know I didn't slave for 12 years for him to ride off in the sunset with everything. Now, God, I already know that. But I said, I don't get this. I don't understand it. I need you to take it I need you to take this stress off and just take it. And I had to let it go. I'm seeing him steal from the business. Let it go. I'm watching them ball out. Let it go. Let me focus on what I have control over. What I have control over is me. I have control over what is going to be my new beginning, my new future. I have control over my attitude. I have control over, you know what? If God closed this door, that means he's opening up another door. Okay, God, so you have locked me out of my own business. Don't know where you're going. Well, let me go ahead and start another business. I gotta still take care of this little boy of mine. We got bills, we got stuff. So let me go start another business. See, a lot of times God closes the door, and here we go. We steady knocking on the closed door. We pounding on the closed, and God's like, girl, boy, if you don't walk down that hall, I got something bigger and better for you. Well, you have to walk down the hall to get it. I can't give it to you. I can't take it from you, and it's not going to be even exchange. You're going to have faith, but you're going to have to walk down the hall. But when you are believing in God, when you understand that if God takes something from me, it's only because he's going to give me something better in return, and I'm listening, I'm paying attention. Okay, God, order my steps. I don't know why you did this, order my steps. I don't know why this is going on, order my steps. And as you're asking God to order your steps, he's giving you peace in your situation. Why did that job fire you? I don't know. Why did you have to file bankruptcy in your business? I don't know. Why did the business partner steal all the money? We don't know. Right? And finding an answer as to why someone did something, is that really what we want? Is finding the answer as to why someone did something, is that really going to fix the problem? If your business partner stole all the money, does it really matter why they stole it? They're not returning it, right? They're not returning it. You're out the business. Whatever is going to be the financial repercussions, it is what it is. So why do we need closure? Why are we so worried about that person telling us why they did what they did? Why are we stuck? Why are we keeping ourselves stuck when God's trying to move you away from the situation? God's trying to have you pivot, but you're still focused on staying there because you want closure, you want understanding. Some things aren't to be understood. But when you are asking God for peace, when you are in God's presence, when we're not anxious, when we're not worried, although you're going through the fire, although you're going through a sticky situation, he's going to give you peace. He's going to have you not be filled with anxiety. You don't know what's going on, but you're okay with the not knowing. You don't know you don't know why it's happening, but you're focused on what new is going to come of this. Okay, well, I lost this business. There's no law that says if you lose a business, you can't start another one. And hey, if you start another one, now you have the knowledge of all the mistakes you made in the first one that you won't make in the second one. So it's really a win-win. If someone did you wrong, don't you want to know ahead of time? Well, hey, I'm glad this person did me wrong in year 1 or in year 2 or in my situation, year 12. I only wasted 12 years. I could have wasted 30. I got out while I still got some looks on me. I got out while I still got a mind on me. I got out while I can still zig and zag. So, God's biggest gift to us is peace. And for God to really show us how good he is, for God to really show us how much he rides for you, for God to really show us how, not just how good he is, but how good you are, sometimes he allows you to get thrown in the furnace. Sometimes he allows bad things to happen to you. Because he wants to show you how good he is. He wants to show you that no matter how dark it is, I can still get you out of this, and I can get you out of this unscathed. I can get you out of this with minimal damage. And I'm not just speaking like, oh my God, God's so wonderful. But I'm speaking from experience, baby. I just told you my son's father shot at me in front of me. In front of my son. Deuce is 11, Deuce was 9. He was about 10 feet from his dad. Pulls a gun out, threatens to kill me, and fires a bullet in my direction. Now, what kind of trauma? I'm more worried about how can I restore my son from him having to see all that. And 2 years later, after I picked up, moved to a brand new city, brand new state, don't know nobody here but my brother, all of a sudden, my son has a neighborhood full of friends. All of a sudden, all the neighborhood friends, they all go to the same school. He loves and he don't love school like he loves school, but he likes going to school because his friends are there. He likes PE and recess and lunch, right? Because all his friends are there. God, I don't have a boo. I don't have another man in my life. Only other man that my son sees that has some sense, is going to be my brother, his uncle. But I have neighbors. I have these dads who are neighbors who have just taken my son in like he is their second son and includes them. See, we think I got to fix the problem. To fix my problem, I got to find a husband tomorrow. God's like, girl, I'm about to cover your son. You don't need a husband right now. You need to just get out of that fog, get out of that mess. Go ahead and do you. Girl, go ahead and do you. Just wait, girl. Just wait. And so by me seeing my son happy, by me seeing my son restored, by me seeing my son loving life, by me seeing my son, having all these friends, and, we had Micah over last night for our sleepover, and, he's going fishing, just living his life. Although we've been through it, God's still blessing. Yes, your son saw some things he shouldn't have seen, but I'm going to still cover him. He's going to be able to be a great and thrive despite of seeing the dysfunction. See, we think God's supposed to give us a perfect life. Give me a perfect husband, a perfect work environment, the perfect friend, the perfect everything. God's saying, in spite of the dysfunction, baby, I'm gonna make you. I'm gonna cover you. In spite of it. So I share my little testimony just for anyone who's on this live who feels like, girl, I hear you, but it can't happen for me. I'm telling you, with God, everything is possible. With God, as long as he woke you up this morning, if you on this live, God is saying he is not done with you yet. God is saying better days are around the corner. God is saying, I have more for you because I'm still waking you up. If he's still waking you up, that means he is not done with you. If he is still waking you up, that means he has more blessings for you. If he is still waking you up, he's saying, I got some more stuff for you. So, no matter how dark it's looking, it's going to turn around. It's going to turn around. But even in the dark, God's blessing to us is his peace, and you have the peace by being in his presence. So whatever you got to do to get in God's presence, to feel him, all you got to do is get in his presence. If that's listening to a YouTube video, listen to a YouTube video. If it's gospel music, get you some gospel music. If it's going to church, go to church. If it's reading a book, read a book. But whatever you got to do to make you feel like God got me, that's what you got to do. When I first was here, when I was in the belly, when it was dark, I would listen to Keon Henderson, T.D. Jakes all day. I'll be at my desk doing my work, start this brand new business. Man, I gotta start over. And I would just be listening to sermons all day because I had a lot of anger, I had a lot of resentment, I got a lot of this thing that got me all the way messed up. But I like God, I don't get what you're doing. Like, I'm so confused. I'm not understanding none of this. I'm trying to be, faithful to you. I'm trying not to take matters in my own hand, but it's like, this ain't it. And so all day in my office, YouTube. Going to bed, YouTube. For months. Because it's like, it was so dark for me. And none of this made sense. And if I didn't have it on, that anger would set in. that, let me go show him who he messing with. Let me go book this ticket and let's go blow everything up. Ain't no one gonna have, I am a little bit ignorant. You know, God working on me, you know, but I'm still a work in process. I still got a little ignorant in me, right? And so I'm like, you know, God, I had this every day just, ooh. All right, God, you say so. So whatever you got to do to put yourself, to feel God's presence and know that he hasn't counted you out, do that. And that's how you're going to be able to feel. That's how you'll feel his presence and have that peace. It's not going to be easy in the beginning. But over time, God's going to show you, I'm here. Over time, God's going to show you, I got you. Over time, God's going to be like, see, I got you. So although you're going through it, you're not stressed. You're not worried. And then you're going to be like, wait a minute, am I having a funky good time? Wait a minute. And that's how it works. But I gotta go shoot some content. But tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, I am doing a free See at the Bank Masterclass going over business structure, business grants, asset protection, marketing, and I am also going over tonight, how do you sell a digital product? How do you sell an ebook, a webinar, to be able to make some passive income? So if you are interested in attending this free class tonight, if you're on my Instagram page, you want to comment the word bank. If you're on my TikTok or my YouTube page, you want to either DM me the word bank, or you want to click that first link in my bio for my free masterclass, and you will be able to get the Zoom link, okay? Well, everyone have a fabulous Sunday, and I will, of course, see you at the bank.